most people, we have refused to accept the reality that the world is a changing society. We are in a changing society. We have moved from what we were in the 50s and the 60s to where we are today. But I think both the government and the other community have refused to realize that our parents are passing from generation to generation, and we are doing better than what we used to be. So with education, I think we are beginning to identify a lot of things that we can do to solve our problem. We have lived together with these people for a very long time, but politics has crept in, and I think I blame not only the House of Fulani, I blame us too, because we have not been able to bring ourselves together. These things have happened over and over. We have the Zango riot in 1965 after the visit of Sadona. Nobody is talking about that. It happened when Sadona came to Southern Kaduna in 1965. I was just a small boy, probably 2 years, 3 years, or 4. 1965, he launched something that he wanted to. Then, if you join the NPC, then you belong to you convert from Christianity to Islam. And he wanted to convert Southern Kaduna into Islam, but nobody was willing to do that. After he left, there was a riot in Zango in 1966, I think. Many people were in prison and nobody said anything. Nobody has talked about that, but it happened in Zango at that time. That was the time that the Zango people were able to ask the government in power, that is the NPC, to remove the emir, the district head of Zango, who was a Muslim, and install a Christian, and that happened. It didn't happen, but it took them a while for them to do that. It has to be by revolution. Nobody wanted that, but they did. So most of these things have been happening. But if you look at what the trend of things, the riot of Kabanchan, 1988, when I was there, the riot of, we'll talk about different riots, Zangong Kotam, many other places. We seem to have allowed, that is political, we seem to have allowed those things to happen. Why? Because those things happened earlier, and nobody took note of that. They used what they call the divide and rule. They came to us and they were saying, no, we are fighting the Tatars, we are fighting the Kagoros, we are fighting the Atakar, we are fighting the Java, not fighting this. And we allowed them to do those things. Yet we have not overcome those things. Those are some things we have to look into. We have to go back to the drawing board and say, no, we have to live as Southern Kaduna people. We are a people that to be reckoned with. And we have to look at ourselves as one and avoid the political part of it. But if we allow these people to do that, then they are succeeding. And that is what the governor of Kaduna is doing right now. He is using that to say, to do what he's doing. And he's getting away with a lot of things. So I would look at the political part of it. And we've had a lot of government that have done that. Have we enjoyed anything in Southern Kaduna? No. Now we want to enjoy it. Then they are saying, no, you can't enjoy it now because you've not enjoyed it before. Why should you do it now? And that is some things that we have to go back to the drawing board and start defining ourselves and looking at ourselves as an entity, as a group, rather than saying, I am Katap, I'm Kagoma, I'm this. We have to find a way of defining ourselves and looking at ourselves as Southern Kaduna first. If we don't do that, trust me, politically, we are not winning, and we will not win. And I want to just say that because I can't talk to the genesis. A lot of people have talked about that. And I have some solution that I would provide. But I would leave it there, and I'll wait for other people to say a lot of things. Thank you. Yes, because these things has been happening for a long time, I feel there's a need for us to come together. We have to see ourselves as an entity. Creation of state is not going to solve our problem. Trust me. until we are able to come together, to work together and see ourselves as one entity. Southern Kaduna, we have different chiefdoms. We'll have to bring our chiefs and our elders together and sit in one table and be able to talk. Not only talking, but we should come out with something that will help us, that will protect us. These people have been doing this for a long time. And because they've been doing it for a long time, they feel that it is a right to do it the way they are doing it now. Our parents, our forefathers did not respond very well. We are responding now because we are a little different in the sense that we have education better than our parents did. And they don't want to accept the reality that things have changed. They want to still stay in the, probably in the early 60s, in the 70s or so. So the most important way to solve our problem is bring our leaders together, work with the middle belt, work with the east, the south, the southeast, and whatever we can work with, and come out with something. El-Rufai is not going to give up. I've known him for a long time. He is not going to give up. And don't forget, he said that his house was born in Zaria. So he's angry with Southern Kaduna because based on what he said, Southern Kaduna people burned his house in Zaria. So he's very angry. We tried here in the diaspora, in the US. We brought a deputy governor and some other representative from his government. And we were in Atlanta. We tried to iron out what the problem was. We were able to get somewhere. We thought we got somewhere, but we didn't. When they went back to Nigeria, things went back to where they are. And the man has refused, I would call him the man, El-Rufai has refused to know that his term would soon be over. So the best thing for us is to come together, look at ourselves as one, rather than looking at ourselves as a different ethnic groups that we try to identify. Rather than looking at ourselves as people that are just within one geographical area. We need to go back and get the middle belt to come and sit down with us so that we can discuss. And I know the South, Southeast, and others are willing to work with us. Until we are able to do that, trust me, creation of state is not going to solve our problem completely because these people are already there. The Fulani, like they said, they call themselves Hausa Fulani. There's nothing like Hausa Fulani. Hausa Fulani was coined just in the 70s or 80s. I think in the 80s. There was Hausa, there was Fulani. But in order to strengthen themselves, they now coined the word Hausa Fulani, and they are using them to strengthen themselves. So let us come together, get our leaders, get our chiefs together, sit down, and come out with some ideas, ways of doing things the way forward. Because if we don't do that, we'll continue to suffer the way we are suffering now. It's been happening for a long time, but we are trying to change it now. The youth should do something, and we should try to bring all those people together and work like you are doing. We appreciate what you are doing, but going to El-Rufai will not solve the problem. Trust me, we've tried it. We did it here in the US. We had a convention in Atlanta. We invited him. He did not come, but he sent his deputy governor and some other people. We sat down at a round table, discussed it. We came to an agreement. When they got back to Nigeria, they refused to even listen to Sokafu.
Okay.
And he has said it himself. He is not going to listen to Sokafu, and he is not going to sit down with Sokafu and talk to them. So let us leave that alone. We will try. If you want to try, you try it. But I know he is not going to do that. So the best thing is let us go back and find a way. If we can get ourselves together, we are going to find some ways of making ourselves strong. And we have to negotiate within ourselves. We shouldn't be afraid to negotiate, but let us not negotiate out of fear. If we negotiate out of fear, we are not going to come up with something. But we can negotiate, and I think something that has started with the Etiap, I expect that every chiefdom should go back, sit down, and find out, sit down, you don't have to negotiate that. Let them find out those they want to send as representatives so that they can come together and come out with something. In that case, we are ready to go. If we don't do that, we are not here, and we'll continue to be where we are.
Thank you.